Hello, great people. The Children Funfair, organized by Queen Naomi, the ex-wife of Ooni of Ife, ended in tragedy as over 35 children have lost their life. This is a great tragedy indeed because it could have happened to anybody in the sense that majority of Nigerians are poor, and if that program had been organized in your village or perhaps in your community, even if your children did not attend, the children of your neighbor would have attended such a program. So it brings the fact that it is a tragedy indeed, and I offer my sincere condolence to the people of Oyo State and the parents involved. May God Almighty grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. On this episode, we'll be talking about the issues and circumstances that brought about the tragedy, and also the action and inaction of Queen Naomi and the state government, the federal government, and also the parents of those children. We'll be looking at that and a whole lot more on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosholadeji. First, let me address something important. I've read on here in the media that some people are carrying conspiracy theory that maybe, oh, those children were sacrificed and all that. What I can say to those people is to please keep quiet. Let us, before we rebuke Queen Naomi, let us praise her for what she has done right. Trying to reach out in this hard time is not a wrong thing to do. And nobody is above mistake. Let us commend her for what she has done. The fact that she has money and she decided to spend that money, she has means, and she decided to use that means and capacity to bless the children of the poor, to organize a fun fair for them, that there should be a gathering for children, is quite commendable. Let us be sincere with ourselves. How many politicians in Nigeria is organizing children fun fair? How many businessmen, how many philanthropy are organizing fun fair for children? So for Queen Naomi to have organized such a fun fair is commendable. Let us be grateful to her that she didn't use her money to be riding Escalade. She decided not to use her money to hire maybe like 16 mobile police to be guiding her Bentley, and be cruising around the whole state of Nigeria, as some of your favorite celebrities usually do. So let us commend her that she has done something right to give back, because it is not easy to give back. Most people that have, they either want to enjoy their money with their friends and family, or they want to use it to seek more money, which is to invest and earn more. So kudos to her. I don't believe that, and such conspiracy theories should be stopped. Queen Naomi, or maybe the stakeholders and organizers, didn't sacrifice the children. Now, let us look at something that is very, very important, which is that this particular tragedy that led to the death of over 35 children shows the level of poverty in Nigeria. Have you been doubting that there's hardship in the land? Hardship in the land. This is one of the manifestations. Because imagine a community organized, the fun fair was organized in a community, and over 5,000 children showed up. Do you know what 5,000 children means? 5,000 showed up for a fun fair. Because why? They know that they would have one or two things to benefit from that fun fair, and such a fun fair is rare. And their parents may not have money to send them to the cinema, doesn't have money to take them vacation abroad, or even beyond their community. Some of them could barely even feed themselves in the face of economic hardship. So for 5,000 children to have turned up, it shows the level of poverty in the community, and that is a signal to government that they are saying, oh, there's hardship, but the hardship is not as people are painting it. No, the hardship is worst, and you need to be poor to imagine the level of hardship. And if you are the type that usually supports mediocrity in governance, I pity you, because those children that died are the children of APC supporters, PDP supporters, Labour Party supporters. So there's no party segregation when it comes to death and tragedy. You see, these days, The hardship is so much that don't try to call a gathering, because the people that will show up will beat your imagination. One of my friends was trying to do this remembrance for her grandmother. She now bought ram and pack of fish. The people that showed up were so much, both the invited and uninvited. Everybody just turned up. In fact, there was a birthday celebration. Both the invited and uninvited turned up for the birthday celebration. That is how hard the economy is. So I've witnessed two events that witnessed unprecedented turn up. The remembrance that I just talked about and the birthday celebration. So if you try to put this what Yoruba people usually call ikokori, that big pot that they used to cook for parties, if you put it on fire, or people see that you tie ram or cow in front of your house, be expecting invited and uninvited guests. What I can say is that, you see, both PDP, Labour Party, and APC, they are more of the same in the two sense of it, because in terms of planning, APC at the federal usually fail in terms of planning. The performance of the president, to me, is above average. And if you look at Oyo State now, it's governed by the PDP. Look at what is happening. The tragedy. Like, what is the level of planning that has been? And don't forget that this is not the first time that a tragedy would occur in Oyo State under Seyi Makinde. Do you remember the Oyo explosion? The explosion that occurred not quite long ago. It was during the reign of this same Seyi Makinde. So all these disasters are man-made disasters, not natural disaster. It was somebody that didn't handle the explosive well, and the state itself did not have enough intelligence to know that there are explosives there and to have handled it in a residential area. And now, this tragedy, the crowd control mechanism and all that, was not well handled. So these are man-made disaster, and there's no way there will be man-made disaster that you can rule out or glorify the government in that particular case, because that is the role of government, to keep things in check and to monitor things to make sure that there's no tragedy and disaster. But in this case, the Oyo State government has failed, in the sense that if somebody wants to organize a program and that person would have told you their crowd expectation, you as a state government, you are supposed to know that because people that are coming to that program are minor and they are not up to maturity, that means that they will be present there with their parent or guardian. So if there is 5,000, if you are expecting 5,000 children, you should have it at the back of your mind that you are naturally expecting 10,000 people, because they will come in with their parents, they will come in with their guardian, and that would double the figure. So what is the plan that was put in place by the state government to make sure that any disaster does not occur? Because you can imagine the stampede that would have taken the life of 35 young souls, not one, not two. So it is not a surprise, it is failure of planning for you to lost 35 young souls. Do you know that out of those 35 children, a future governor may be among them? You've killed him. A future engineer, a future pilot, a future president may be among them. That soul have been lost now. You can imagine that. So the level of planning was quite low. Then the risk assessment, the venue that was used is a school. And you know that school usually have limited entry and exit point. School usually have one gate. So how do you plan to manage crowd control when there's limited entry and exit point while you are using a school? You can imagine. So the best place that could have been used could have been like a stadium, whereby there are different exit points. So at that period of stampede, if there are multiple entry and exit points, it could have been well managed. But you went to use a school for 5,000 kids who will come with their parent and guardian, making it like 10,000, and there's only one entry and exit point. So even if there's an emergency, God forbid, if this terrorist group had invaded the place and there's like a bomb blast or something, where are the exit routes? If there's a fire or any unforeseen circumstance, where are the exit routes? So you are using a school to cater for between 5 to 10,000 people, and there's one entry and exit point. How about the rush hour for 5,000 kids? No, that is failure of planning on the part of government and on the part of Queen Naomi herself. Because even if Queen Naomi failed to see some of these things, it is the role of government to grant approval and to have known or to have foreseen that this kind of thing could have happened. Then another thing is the risk assessment. The risk assessment, because if you are doing such a thing, are there buses that can convey the kids in large numbers, as these churches usually do, that they will provide buses to strategic locations after the program and to bring people to the program so that they manage traffic? You see, providing buses for such a program to and from strategic locations is a way of reducing traffic, because if you don't provide that bus, the traffic congestion in that area, cars that will be coming, will be so much. So what are the risk assessment that was done by the state government? And also, what are the health and safety measures that were put in place? Like in case of any emergency, the ambulance, paramedics, in case of any child that has asthma, you know, what are the health and medical facilities that were provided? Because I want to believe that during the stampede, some of those children could have been saved if there's enough health facilities. But I don't think there's adequate health facilities. I'm not talking of providing one ambulance to cater for a program of between 5 to 10,000 people. I'm not talking of providing 2 ambulances. I'm talking of providing strategic health facilities to cater for the lives of those, because whether you like it or not, it is a monumental tragedy. Another thing that we must consider is the role of the First Lady. Madam First Lady, what are you looking at? You are to assist your husband. So you are the mother of the children in the state, and if such a program is being held under the jurisdiction and control of your husband, are you not aware? Like, did you not put any modalities in place? Because such a program is even a strategic program for the First Lady to attend and win souls for her husband and win political souls. Because even if the husband is not recontesting, the husband will want to anoint a successor. So there could have been better alternative ways of planning the program. And this is not only in Oyo State, because we've witnessed such tragedies in Nigeria, and it seems that it keeps reoccurring over time. And I think government needs to up its sleeves. You remember the custom, when custom was selling rice and there was stampede and people were dying because they want to access cheap price. You remember, I think during the years of Jonathan, the immigration recruitment, that there was a stampede and people died. You remember when a church was doing outreach in River State and there was a stampede and people also died. That points to us as a country that we need to do more in the area of crowd control mechanism. It is not about being in power. It is not about striving to earn money, internal generated revenue, budget, taxes, and all that. No. What have you provided with such funds in such a way that there are amenities that can cater for the needs of the people and there won't be tragedy? My condolences once again to the parents of the deceased children, and I pray God grants them the fortitude to bear the loss. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omoshola. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we relax to analyze politics and happenings in the polity. Do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course I have great interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.